Good afternoon. Family, faculty, staff, board members, students, and supporters, thank you so much for being here today to celebrate this momentous occasion, the high school graduation of the class of 2016. Baba, and Gennaro, today you walk across the stage as our first graduating class. You have cleared the path for others to follow and have shown everyone that all things are possible. I speak for everyone here today in saying what a privilege it has been to see you grow from mischievous young boys to mischievous young men. You have touched and changed people's lives in ways that you will never understand. Your story has given other refugee children around the world, and especially in this country, hope. And today it gives us more reason to believe that anything is possible. I have had the honor of coaching and teaching you. My life is all the richer and better because of you. You have taught me valuable lessons on humility, honesty, loyalty, and perseverance. You have made me laugh, cry, go through sleepless nights, and the number of gray hairs that I have has increased dramatically. It takes an incredible team to get to this point. We would not be here without our deeply dedicated board of directors. If you currently serve or have ever served on our board, would you please stand up? Their tireless work behind the scenes is what allows us to continue this work, hopefully for more years to come. Through your years at Fugees Academy, you have been guided by passionate, talented faculty and staff who met you where you were and took you where you needed to go. Some of your former teachers and staff members have traveled from DC, Michigan, Minnesota, and College Park to be here today. If you have ever had the honor of teaching and working with these students, can you please stand up? And let's not forget the generosity of countless volunteers and supporters who year after year do what needs doing, all with the goal of making your success possible. If you've ever volunteered with the Fugees, please stand up. You three are very fortunate to have family members that have been there for you through thick and thin. Jocelyn, you have been a voice of reason in this sometimes chaotic world. You are a fierce advocate for your children, and your love for them shows no bounds. Gennaro is a very lucky young man. Samuel, you have been there for Baba through thick and thin, and when others have not. You have sacrificed and provided for your brother, and have gone beyond and above what is expected. He is standing here today because of you. And Gwenard, in addition to being a really great soccer player and making the best Ethiopian coffee in town, you have been there for Obai through some difficult times. You have put his well-being above your own. Your love, kindness, and dedication to your family shows in Obai. I once asked him what he wanted to do with his life. His answer was so simple and powerful. I want to take care of my mom. He is here thanks to you. A few years ago, I was at a conference about college readiness. During one of the sessions, they spoke about who will be successful. They had charts and graphs and years of data to back up what they were saying. I walked out of the session midway, angry. Angry because according to them, the three of you should not be here today. They said that kids who grew up in poor households, weren't exposed to languages and books since birth, didn't have literate parents, and experienced any type of trauma and violence weren't going to graduate from high school. And if by some miracle they did, then they really weren't going to do much after that. They didn't know you, and they didn't know the Fugees. When I first started the school, a principal at another school told me that I was wasting my time on kids that would never make anything of themselves. And they would drop out, join gangs, and not accomplish anything, that a school would never make a difference. They were wrong. Today you stand here defying all odds, not by luck, but by the strength of your character. I have learned so much from the three of you. Gennaro, when you left us after 8th grade, I remember pulling you aside on the last day of school and telling you that if you ever needed anything, you should just call, that I will always be there for you. A year later, you called wanting to come back. Well, come back to the team. You wanted to play, but not go to the school. I said that they both went hand in hand and you couldn't pick one without the other. Right before school started, I looked over your transcript and was horrified. Your grades were dismal at best, and you had a few disciplinary issues. I explained to you that you would need to work twice as hard and take summer courses and pay for them yourself if you were to graduate on time, and that you didn't really have any room to mess up. You nodded and said, "I understand, Coach." And you worked, some days more than others. You took your summer classes and passed, and you kept pushing yourself. On the field, it was the same thing. You were joining a team that was faster and stronger than you were, and you were out of shape. But you pushed yourself to keep up with the team, and every time you did, I pushed them to go faster, telling them that Gennaro was keeping up with them, and so they went faster. But so did you. You were determined to keep up. This last year with you has given me a glimpse on the kind of man I know you will become. From the summer when you left your first summer job and then immediately found another one that started at 6 a.m. I was skeptical that you would be able to keep that up, but you did. And you earned enough money to pay for your summer courses and completed those in time. And during your senior year, you stepped up and became a good coach. Your players looked up to you, one of them saying, "Gennaro pushes us to do our best." On the field, you stepped and led your team when they needed a leader. You motivated them on the field and led by example. Your excitement on the field was infectious. It was as infectious when you scored a goal as it was when you scored your first goal 7 years ago. You have taught me to push myself to be better, to learn from my mistakes, and to step up when I'm needed. And for that, I will always be grateful. You have come such a long way from the young man that showed up to the soccer field 8 years ago. I remember going to games and not being sure if you would show up with all your gear. We would get to the field and you would realize you didn't have your shin guards or maybe your socks or your cleats, and you would have to sit out. Your team would try to get creative because you were such a good player, and they would make shin guards out of cardboard or switch socks with you, but that didn't always work. We got in the habit of stopping you as you entered the bus and going through the list of stuff you had. Shin guards? Yes. Socks? Yes. Cleats? Yes. And then we would let you on the bus. I had to stress cleats, not cleat, as a couple of times you only bought one cleat. I learned to keep a backup pair in my bag just in case. 2 weeks ago, when we were leaving for the state playoffs, you were the last one on the bus and we did the same check. This time you had everything and you grinned at me for asking. You were also 3 feet taller. You have a huge heart. You've had more than your share of challenges. Most people would never be able to get through what you have overcome to get here today. You go through those obstacles like you do on the soccer pitch, with determination, boundless energy, and kindness for those around you. Just when I think you're about to give up, you get up even stronger and more determined. And through all of this, you are selfless, taking care of others around you, spending time coaching and teaching the younger kids, decorating their faces at Halloween, and sharing your food with them. Your compassion has no boundaries. And then there's Obai. You are wise beyond your years. A few years ago, we were interviewing a math teacher. He was teaching a sample lesson, and I thought it went very well. After he left, I sat down with the boys and asked them what they thought. "You can't hire him, Coach. He thinks we're stupid," said Obai. "What do you mean?" I wrote down the wrong answer to one of the problems, and he told me, "Good job. He thinks we're poor little refugees, and you've always said that is not who we want working for us." Obai reminded me again of the high standards that we set at the Fugees, that the staff and faculty have to be the best, have to understand the limitless potential of our kids and empower them, not enable them. That experience guides me today. A few months after my first daughter was born, Obai was at our house. He couldn't understand why she had so many books, because she couldn't read. I tried to explain that kids need to be exposed very early on to words and language, and that her brain is a sponge right now. I told him to read to her, and as he did, she turned the pages with him. She's going to be smarter than all of us by second grade, he said matter-of-factly. What was supposed to be a compliment struck a nerve. Obi had reminded me indirectly that my work needs to get better, that the gaps in education need to be closed even more, that our work at the academy can always improve, and our standards need to remain high. What I expect for Obi, Baba, Gennaro, and all the Fugees is what I expect for my daughters Layla and Zainab, that every child deserves the same experiences and opportunities. I have learned more from you, the three of you, than from my 4 years in college. You have taught me lessons that can't be learned from a book. You have given me experiences that money can't buy. You have taught me about racism and classism and how ugly it can be. You have taught me the value of perseverance and hard work, of never giving up. You have taught me that the impossible is possible. And more importantly, you have taught me love and kindness and compassion. I am a better coach because of you. And for that, I am grateful. I leave you with 3 pieces of advice. 1, learn from your mistakes. You will make mistakes. We all do. Don't go in a dark hole and hide, and don't beat yourself up over it. Ask for help when you need to. If your plan A doesn't work, that's okay. There's a plan B and a C and a D. 2, whatever path you end up choosing, make sure you continue to make this world, and especially your community, a kinder, gentler, and more just place to be. And 3, today you graduate as Fugees. You are Fugees for life. The friendships you have made with your classmates and teammates will bond you forever. Cherish them and nurture them. Our door and our fields are always open for you. I believe I speak on behalf of everyone here in saying that I'm so honored to celebrate your accomplishment today. Congratulations.